Hi, Mark. Welcome to Breaking Biscuits. Today we're going to talk about Are You Walking Together? So stay tuned. Well, Mark, welcome back. It's been a few weeks since we've done a show. Summer season's upon us, and we've both been pretty super busy, but we've been talking here the last little bit about this subject about are you truly walking together? And as we were talking to that, this kind of inspired me to look something up that I'd heard about, read about, I've actually experienced. So I kind of wanted to try to get some data points on it. But there's a term out there called the gray divorce. And it's defined as people that go through a divorce process, couples age 50 or older. And one of the things that's been interesting, and most people might not know, I don't know, maybe they do, but the divorce rate for younger couples generally over the last 30 years has declined. But the divorce rate of the 50 or olders has actually increased and by quite a bit, and basically doubled over the last 30 years. And so that's a big shift in the demographic of couples. And you and I started talking about this. What's the kind of the why behind it? Why post 50 is this thing double, while at the same time the younger generation, their divorce rate is declining? I know in my time growing up, like if you saw a couple in their 50s, like you could bet the farm if they were going to be married when they died. Like it was just going to be that way. You never heard. It was always a younger couple that maybe went through a divorce. But today it's definitely not the case. You hear and see a lot of examples of older couples divorcing at that age. And then that kind of led us to the point of, well, if somebody could have talked to us in our 30s or 40s, what would have been nice to know at that age to work on, so that you don't find yourself in the place of being in this so-called gray divorce. So let's start there with the conversation, if you like, and just kind of give me your thoughts on the whole thing.
Well, when you were just talking, there's two things. Number one, maybe the younger generation is not divorcing because they abandoned the roles that they were taught, because it didn't work. They live in a home, but there was no togetherness, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, men do this, they get up, they do this, they do that. Women got a role, they all play a role. And I think the younger generation has abandoned that and become more of a team. That's what I think. I think that's what they're wanting to do. They don't know how, but I think the way they were trained and modeled is that underlying current in their head telling them, it's like I just did a podcast on, we've talked about it lots of times. Men can be angry and they get a pass because we just say, well, they're just passionate. No, you're not passionate. You're not any more passionate than anybody else. You're inconsiderate and you're wounded. But we started talking about this scripture. So I'm wondering if the roles that we've been taught had anything to do with the younger people. So let's see, I got to look this up. Amos 3:3, pretty cool scripture. It says, can two walk together except they be agreed? Can two walk together unless you're in agreement? And you and I were just talking about can two walk together? So walk means union, right? Oneness, union, togetherness. But then agreed means it literally means to have constant meetings and updates on the direction. So you have union and you have agreed direction, and then you have walking together. So I'm just wondering what your thoughts are on one versus the other. Can you have one or the other, or how's that look in a marriage? How can two walk together unless they're agreed?
Yeah, I think they both can walk. I don't know that they can walk together. Then one of them ends up walking out if there's not a union or a vision. But yeah, I think it's impossible from my perspective. But yeah, I think the vision part is like that. To me, that's interesting because, our generation, the vision was you get up, be at work at time, work hard, come home, be a good father, and the rest of it will work itself out. And like put in whatever time is required. Like it doesn't matter. Like you're the provider, that's what you do, and that's your, like you said, that's your role. But I think what you're sharing is there's such a better way to do it than that. To have a shared vision with your spouse of where you're going, and I love the part of updating it because I'm a business guy, so. You cast vision in business, you make plans. You don't like do a 40-year plan and stick to it. I mean, the longest you do is 1 year, and you adjust month to month if sooner. So it's like, why would we do that in our lives? Like we get married and we think, okay, here's our 60-year plan. I'm going to get married, go to work, retire someday, and live happily ever after. That's my plan. Well, there's probably a lot of other stuff that needs to happen in between those guardrails. So, and I don't think we talk about it. I don't think we do it. I don't think we deal with it as men. I think we just, like you said, we take on our role. And I think, and I'm a career guy, so I can say this. I think our careers, they don't have to, but they can't get in the way. They can take up too much oxygen in the room.
And it probably, I guess, for some men it feel like a safe place because I can just live out of my head and rely on data and make everything work out.
Well, and I mean, let's admit we men have egos, and we all have egos, and we all want to be successful. We always talk about we want to be fully known and fully understood and fully appreciated. And sometimes we look for our appreciation in the areas of our vocation, like because it's a way to measure success. Because we have in our society we measure success financially, unfortunately, and it's so far from what it should be. But I just think we misplace sometimes our importance, and we like the ego, we like the feeling of success, we like the feeling of accomplishment. And I mean, whether you're an athlete, whether you're a business guy, everybody likes the feeling of accomplishment. And so I think sometimes we get stuck there a bit. Is we're wanting that feeling, and really it should that identity and that purpose and the feeling I'm describing should come through our relationships. To me, first, and secondarily is the labor from our hands, so to speak. But I think we got to sometimes flip backwards.
So going back to union and walking in a vision together, Is there some couples that would have a vision together, but then their union starts to deteriorate?
Sure. I mean, but to me, they feed off each other, Mark.
Mm-hmm.
And like, if you're constantly updating the vision, then it's hard to do that without being in a union of agreement, of togetherness, true togetherness, because nobody's going to get their way 100%. So it's really a way of, it's an opportunity of coming together to decide what our future is going to look like. What's the next year going to look like? 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. What's your vision for your golden age years? All those things. And then the idea would be that you would work toward that together as teammates, as partners. And I think it's one thing the younger generation maybe has on us is they look at life a little bit clearer through that lens, and maybe some of certainly our age group, but maybe the generation right behind us, the 40-year-olds, late 30s, 40s, mid 40s, certainly 50s. They're going to be probably more in our camp than they would be in that technology camp. We communicate constantly anyway. Why not talk about this?
Mm-hmm.
I think they communicate electronically, but they still communicate a lot, opposed to our generation, or my parents' generation.
Yeah,
I didn't even need to say anything. It's pretty rare.
So Toby, our demographic of our podcast is like 35 to 50. That's the age group, which is about right.
Yep.
And our whole goal here, just doing this podcast, is to help younger people avoid pitfalls and roadblocks and disasters later in life, and then wondered what happened. So everything we do is for that purpose, right?
Yeah, 100%. What we're saying today is, how do you not become a statistic in the gray divorce syndrome?
Yeah.
Like, I would ask you, if you could tell yourself, your 40-year-old self, in a relationship as a man, what would you tell yourself to focus on and to do different?
Well, it goes back to the fulfilling your role and being fulfilled in your role and knowing you're doing what you're created to do, right?
Yep.
But I think sometimes, like you said, the ego gets so wrapped up in the accolades and appreciation and the whatever, we lose sight of our mate. We lose sight of our partner. We lose sight of the one that got us there, and we lose sight of tending. If there was ever a garden that men need to tend, it's the garden of their wife's heart. If that is Adam's role, and he came out of her, and it's his responsibility. God didn't even name Eve. Adam did, because that's creator rights. God called her woman, but Adam called her Eve. She's the beginning. She's my new beginning in my life. And I'm going to make sure. So that's what I would tell younger men today, is slow down. Keep the accolades and the striving and the successes and the stuff you have to press into. Manage them better, and don't sacrifice one for the other. I guess that's what I would say. Don't sacrifice one for the other. It's just so much funner to do it together. And you and I both know that sometimes when you don't do it together, that's a disaster.
Well, how do you stay together if you're not doing it together?
I would ask you the same question. What would you tell younger men out there? Because we coach a lot of young men that become very, very successful, and they're just now trying to figure out how to have a better relationship to their wife and children and family. So they are aware and they are working on it, but I just wonder about all the guys that aren't.
Well, I will say this to the quote unquote successful people: listen carefully. I'm one of you, so listen carefully.
Yeah.
The most important thing in your life is your relationships. It's not your success. It's success makes life more interesting, more comfortable, but it is not the most important thing. It's the relationships that God, and I like what we were talking offline earlier. I like what you said, and I'm going to ask you to share about the priest, but it's what God lit a fire within you with another person. That relationship, because he lit that fire, is real, and it's kind of like ordained of God because he lit the fire. That fire is the most important and fulfilling thing that you will ever experience in your life. Mark, I've done billion-dollar deals. And you know what? The excitement lasts a very short time. But the excitement to have love in your heart, to have intimacy, to have transparency, to have connection, when that union exists between you and your wife, there's nothing more fulfilling on the face of the earth to be one with someone. And it takes work to keep it. I mean, it takes work. And I think we get so wrapped up in our own success, we lose sight of that. And I'm not saying you have to sacrifice one for the other. These lives can coexist, and they're not even separate. They're all intermingled together. But that's the key, is it needs to be together. And I'll say this, and I'll let you talk about the priest. But if you're a man that feels like, and I said this to you earlier, if you say out of your mouth to your wife, honey, everything I do is for my family, which, by the way, I've said those words multiple times, that's a confirmation you're doing it alone. So my point is, don't do it alone. Figure a way to do it with her in the sense of shared vision, shared purpose, shared future. Talk about it, dream together. It doesn't mean she's going to get involved in what you're doing, but she needs to be involved from a vision standpoint, and she needs to be in agreement from a vision standpoint. It's your responsibility to sell that to her and to have unity over that. That's how I see it.
I want to ask you this question. I'm going to give it back to you, but I want you to answer the question: if a man feels like everything I do is for my family, but my wife is not in agreement with that, what should he be looking for with his own self? Like, there's this old joke that the couple went to marriage counseling, and the guy said, she says, "You don't tell me you love me." And he goes, "Well, I told you when I married you, didn't I?"
Right. That always goes over well, right?
So I guess the question is, if you're a man out there and you're feeling like, if those words are on the tip of your tongue, everything I do is for you. No matter, that's like the end all be all of all arguments, almost, which seems very shallow. Maybe true.
It's probably true.
Yeah.
Like some of it is for our own ego. Yeah. And I don't mean that in a necessarily negative way.
No.
But some of it is for ourselves. But but it's probably true. You're probably motivated for your family. You're motivated to provide maybe a life you didn't have, whatever the case may be. But I guess the question is what's the everything you're doing to feel connected with your wife?
Yeah. Is it pulling you away from it?
We didn't say that. Everything I do is so that you and I are in unity.
Oh, that's a way better answer.
Yeah, we don't say those words. We always talk about the other stuff we do.
It's like I want to create this life so when we're older, it's just me and you, baby.
Yeah. And she's probably thinking, well, I need you now. I don't need you when I'm 65, 70. So it's, I think every woman is different, but women are a lot alike as well. So I think it's just the question is, what are we doing about, as men, what are we doing to keep the fire going? Which leads me into what, your thoughts about the priest and all that, because I think it's very fitting what we're talking about.
Well, it's I was reading a couple months ago, Leviticus 6 says the role of the priesthood, Aaron and his sons, the role. Leviticus 6 says the two number one rules or roles for a priest is to offer sacrifice. And if any man is not feeling the burden of, I'm the one that always has to sacrifice, then they're not even in the game. You're supposed to feel that way because that's your role as a priest. You are the priest of your family. The first church is the home, and always has been, and it always will be. So I think that's important. The first role of the priest was to offer sacrifice. But they offer the sacrifice in union with the woman, the soul. My soul offers sacrifice. So they're working together. She's bringing the substance and he's sacrificing. So I think for us younger men to feel the burden of sacrifice, I'm the only one. I think the danger is what you're saying is like, I'm the only one sacrificing. Well, then you're in a train. You better call us because you are not.
Exactly.
But your mind can go there. And then we do the comparison thing like, well, I sacrifice more than you. Or what are you sacrificing? That's when stuff starts getting off the rail. But a healthy priest knows it's my honor to serve my family by offering sacrifice, and I feel the burden of it. And we have to manage that burden, I think, with other priests so we can understand what's the good balance of carrying that load. But then the other part of the priest's role was to never let the fire go out. And whatever that fire was, when you lit on fire with your wife and your union and your dreams and your purpose and your function and everything you ever wanted, you cannot let the fire go out. And God told the priest to do that. That's your role. You cannot let the fire go out. So if the fire is waning, men, look to yourself. Quit waiting on your wife to start the fire. It's our job to keep the fire burning because Leviticus 9 says the first sacrifice ever offered to Moses, the fire came from God. So that's a heavenly, holy fire, that union between us. And it's my job to sacrifice, keep the fire burning. And the last thought on that the priest had to do is he had to change his clothes every night, every day, every night, and take the coals that are already burned up and take it outside the city and dump it in a safe place and come back in and put on their priest clothes or their normal clothes. So the priest's role is to offer sacrifice, not let the fire go out, and keep all the dead, dry coals out of it. In other words, start a new day every single day to keep the fire burning.
That's
And I've
so
never heard that.
No, nor did I. When you were talking, Mark, I was thinking about a podcast we did some time ago, about fathers, and I wonder how many men that are driven by success are driven because their father never validated them, and then they do what I said, which is, hey, I'm doing this for the family. I'm driven for the family, looking for validation from the wife that should have came from the father. And so that's where the resistance is the husband's looking for the wife to validate his hard efforts and work, where the father was the one that was supposed to validate.
Yeah.
Validating. And she
Yes.
can't fill that role. She's looking for something else, and he's looking for her to fill this void in his life. And so he becomes, I'm unappreciated, like all the things that are really stirred up from the lack of the Father's blessing.
Well, when Jesus was baptized by John the Baptist, John 3, I think, he came up out of the water, and there was a loud, booming voice of the Father, and he said, "This is my Son, in whom I'm very proud of."
Yeah.
The Father tells that to the Son, and watch out. Because sometimes a wife falls short fulfilling that. That's why us men really need other men to say, "Hey, I'm proud of you."
Yeah.
I say it to everybody that I coach because I genuinely am. It's not a saying. And when I see their struggle without a father and who they've become as a man, it's very inspiring. And sometimes they just need a fatherly figure to say, "I'm proud of you," and I really am.
Yeah.
And I'm like you. How many guys out there are striving just to hear that one voice?
Right. But it can't come from the wife.
Not at that level, I don't think.
I mean, it doesn't carry the same weight.
She can support you.
Yeah.
I want to revisit this thought, though. When you said that, it seems like if a man keeps in his back pocket, "I do all this for you anyway," that's almost like a cop-out. Even though it is true, like if you get in an argument and the man's go-to line is, "Well, I did all this for you anyway. I guess it don't matter." Or, speak on that a little bit.
Yeah, I think the underlying assumption, you hit on it earlier, is you're basically saying, "I do more than you." Like I think what you're really saying is, "I deserve some respect because I've done more than you for this family." And that's not togetherness. That's the whole point here of this podcast.
Yeah.
It's just not togetherness. It's not unity. Like those are red flags to say, okay, we need to step back and we need to work on us, because we got the husband wanting and doing one thing that's not a shared vision, and the wife is have a need and doing something totally different. We're not on the same page. But I think all this is feeling based, which is why you got to work through it. And obviously feelings don't drive our behavior. They shouldn't. But the feeling is you're unappreciated. And it's weird, because like I'm a pretty decent observer, and I noticed that women don't really validate their husband's vocation when they typically appreciate. It's more like you said, more supportive and appreciative for what they do. It's not like a validation. So it's not it's not good for the man's ego. But now they'll validate you as a, if you're connected to them, they'll validate your emotional side all day long and tell you how great a person you are and your character qualities and all that. But your vocation, I just don't think it's in their DNA to go there. That's not their first go-to place. But yet it's what we desire the most.
And like you said, we didn't get it growing up.
Yeah, I mean, I knew my father was very proud of me, but yet he didn't express, he didn't use words of love to express
Right.
how he felt about his children. So it's like you're constantly trying to get your father's approval, and you're like waiting for that moment where he's just like, man, I'm really super proud. And I'm blessed. I got that later in life, toward the end of his life. But it took a lifetime to get there. But it's okay. But a wife couldn't do that for me. Only him. So what do you, let me spin this around. Like, as we're talking about this, what do you think the wife's perspective is? Like in the context of what we're discussing today, how's she seeing this?
Well, I kind of dove into the concept of Genesis chapter 2, and God said, I'll make a helpmeet for you. And we've always grown up, you and I, in church, and it's like the man's here and the woman's here. But I have learned over the years that the woman comes from my very being. So we walk together and support each other and love each other. So I think the one biggest thing as a man is that man needs to know that he's on the right track and his wife is behind him all the way. That's what a helpmeet is to me. When he gets down, frustrated, discouraged, she knows how to pump the life back in him and get him going again. But not in a subservient way. So a father could say, I'm proud of you, right? That changes everything for a young man. But a wife can say, I believe in you.
Yeah.
That's her role. I believe in you. I don't care the crap if anybody don't believe in your vision, purpose, and goals. I do. And because when a husband gets married, he leaves his father and mother. So he leaves his formation and he leaves his proudness, and he not leaves it, but he grows into another state. And God said, you can't be alone. So God created us with a need. Men have a need in their life. There, I said it. You weren't perfect. You're never going to be perfect by yourself. And that need is for people and a helpmeet in the form of appreciation is important. But man, having a helpmeet that says, I believe in you, I don't even know if there's anything greater than it. I believe in your vision, our direction, where we're going. I believe it. Dang, that's kind of where I live, and that's what we work on over here. That's what I've noticed in my own life.
And
if you're out there winning the world, Jesus said, you win the whole world and lose your soul. What's the point?
Yeah.
What he's saying is that you can be successful. You can have all the money in the world, buy the biggest house on all 1,000 hills, but if no one's really there walking with you, I think that's what this podcast is about. Walking with you, saying, I believe in it. I believe in you. So that's kind of my take.
Okay.
What do you think a woman should roll? Because it's a very wide topic. But for me,
Well,
it's
I think you nailed the role. I think she has a need, right? So her need is to be connected, to be safe.
that's good.
So I guess the dichotomy is we're verbalizing we're a provider and we're doing it all for them, and they're saying, well, how does that make me feel needed, wanted, and safe? Like, I need your heart. I don't need your money. I need your time.
Mm-hmm.
I need to feel one with you. Like, all that's her needs. So, and if our role is to keep the fire going as men, then we have to meet those needs. And we have to find ways to meet those needs. The best place to start is to ask her, what do you need me to do to feel connected to me? What do you need me to do to feel safe with me? I'm sure she'll tell you. I'm
yeah.
like,
What do you need from me? That's a huge thing.
yeah. So I think it's none of this is easy, Mark, but I think none of it is super complicated either. Because God created us a certain way, and men have needs and women have needs, and we have needs together, and we have visions, and I don't think it's super complicated. It's just, where are we going to put our focus and our time, and can we keep, as men, I would say, I want to emphasize this in closing as our time's starting to wrap up. I mentioned ego. It's not a bad thing unless it's not in check. And I'm telling you, men, keep your ego in check. Because if it's not in check, it will get you somewhere you don't want to be. And sometimes I think we feel we can get to a point where we feel like our wives aren't appreciating us, and then that puts us susceptible of getting our ego stroked in an unhealthy way.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's the caution here, is the fire was lit, put some air to it and some wood on it, some fuel on it, and she'll be more than enough.
Nadab and Abihu were sons of Aaron. And I think it's Numbers 10, and the Bible says they offered strange fire. They tried to create a whole nother fire outside of the home or the temple or the place, and God struck them dead. So not taking care of your fires, what you're saying is a death sentence, because it makes you susceptible to finding whatever you need somewhere else.
Yeah. 100%.
It just goes back to what you're saying. It's not hard, but it's not easy. I don't know how to explain it. It's being vulnerable enough to say, this is what I really need, and this is how I really feel.
Yeah. Well, we would rather go conquer the world than to do that. That's more fun to us. But it's not, I'm telling you, when one of us is gray and one of us is bald, and one of us is almost gray and bald, but man, when you get to this stage of life, you just realize none of that. Like, it just doesn't carry the same importance. Like, your relationships are everything. So figure it out now. It's a lot easier.
Well, someone asked me something. I don't know. Well, I know we got to go, but someone asked me, I can't remember the question. And I said, one of the ways to keep the fire burning as a man is to learn to love the things your wife loves.
Yeah.
And the number one thing every woman loves the most is her children.
It's good.
And you can keep a fire burning by loving your children, because your wife's, that's what she loves. So I learned that I just genuinely had to love what she loves. Because that's what love really is.
That's good.
And we love Jesus, and he loves the people, so I have to love the people. I have to love what he loves.
That's good.
Sounds easy, though, don't it?
Huh?
Sounds easy.
Sounds easy. It's not hard. But man, I mean, like, somebody will listen to this podcast and get up the next day and like go do their routine, and they're right back in it. And I'll say again, it doesn't mean you abandon one for the other.
No.
But you've got to have some balance there. There's for sure. Definitely want some balance. So,
well, men are. I'm gonna close with this though.
Okay.
Men are funny. We buy our wives gifts that we benefit from.
Right. Right. We buy her what we
try
want.
to get a 2-for-1.
Yeah. Well,
we'll do a date night to go stay in a hotel for a weekend. But what we didn't ask is what she really needed was, how about you take the kids and I can have a space to myself. That's called keeping the fire burning.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember I asked my wife, I said, I think a new dishwasher would be a really good Christmas present. That was the wrong thing to say.
Yeah, that doesn't go over. Right.
Anyway, talk us out. Talk to the young guys.
Yeah, so just trying to think of an ending thought here. I would, it's kind of like what we always say, Mark, you got to start somewhere. And I just want to challenge everybody, do something different. Have a conversation with your wife about the future and find out if you have a shared vision. Like, don't just listen to these things, but put something into practice. Do something you've not done before, or identify something that she loves and participate in it, and put some energy and some focus and some effort into it, like genuinely and sincerely. Or ask her like we said earlier, ask her what she needs from you or how you can help her. But do something this week you haven't done in the past, and then try to make it, a routine and something that you visit together often. But we're just touching the tip of the iceberg. We're not here to solve the world's problems in a 30 or 45-minute podcast, but we're here to get you to start thinking a different way. So we love you guys. We're so happy that you tune in, share and like our videos. We're here for you. We do this for you. And until we see you next time, this is Breaking Biscuits.